All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Apostate Prophet After Party. So far, we have, of course, Ridvan is with us. We have my good friend IQ, Inquisitive Quandary. We have a newcomer to the After Party, Scott the Heretic, who has a malfunctioning camera, so that's why you get the little picture of the camera with the slash through it. And we also have the amazing Duke Bonanza and my good friend Pikachu, the gay atheist, is with us as well, who hasn't been on in a little while. So
yeah.
Anyway, so any of you guys, if you guys have any questions you want to direct at Ridvan, go ahead. Now's your opportunity.
That's me. So.
Yeah.
That's right. If you have any questions you want to direct at me, I invite you to vigorously and thoroughly suck it.
Okay. We're off to a great start.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm really enjoying this. I don't know what will come next, but
there's no telling.
Yeah, exactly. I give a disclaimer in the description box that this stuff can get pretty crazy sometimes.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. No problem. I will be here only for like 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so. So
yeah, because where are you located? You're across the pond, aren't you?
Where's the pond?
Well, I mean the Atlantic.
Well, what kind of an expression is that? I'm not familiar with that.
It's a big pond.
No, I'm in America. I'm in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were in England. I don't fucking know.
No.
And then somebody was talking to you in England. I thought was in America. So I guess that kind of evens it out.
I guess I kind of have a weird accent though, because that's why people cannot tell. You can't really put that anywhere because I kind of speak this weird English accent. but I'm over here in America in the Central Time Zone. So.
Oh, well, fuck, all right.
He's with me.
It's only like close to 7:30 for you.
Yeah, yes. But I have a family though. I'm busy, so.
Yeah, totally understood.
Yeah, Neil has this weird thing called a real life also, where he's always just like, I'd love to keep hanging out with you miscreants, but I've got to go eat barbecue and drink more beer.
Yeah.
There's always room for more beer.
Yeah.
How is you guys government doing with all this virus and stuff over there?
Here? Well,
no, I'm talking about over there in Europe.
Nobody's in Europe, dude.
Oh, whatever. Yeah. Oh, I thought England. Yeah.
No. You see, here we go.
Neil, you've derailed the entire thing, Neil.
Oh no,
you're a bad host, Neil.
What have you done?
He's like, I heard a pond.
I don't know.
I'm leaving. What is it?
Dude, I'm still so hoping that Faithless Forum happens. That we all actually get to talk to you in person.
Yeah,
that'll be nice. Yeah. I think that might be the entire reason why this whole coronavirus outbreak happened, because it came from a divine place which didn't want Faithless Forum to happen.
Yeah, that's right. It's already canceled the Atheist conference.
Yeah. So that totally makes sense.
Hey, you know,
it's the goddamn Catholics.
You know who it came from? It came from what's his name, blowing the wind of God.
Kenneth Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland.
Did you see that? Did you? Oh my God! Did you like that dude? Looks like a fucking gremlin.
He does.
He looks like a goblin. He just looks evil looking, man. Like
when he makes that face where he bugs his eyes out a little bit. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's just helter skelter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Why can't we get him to play the Joker? Shit.
Yeah,
I'd lose sleep.
Ridvan,
no,
I think
we need to get
directed at you because you're not in England, so you're not one of the chosen ones.
Not one of the chosen ones.
My friend David here he's over in England. Have you spoken with David?
No, I haven't. No.
He's got a great podcast, and I think you should pop on that one. To be honest,
I would love to.
He's actually been on David's show.
I have these things around these times. I would like to actually talk to people. So I don't know. Yeah.
I'm confused. What do you mean he's been on David's show?
I'm pretty sure. I already had all of Armin's links.
What? Armin?
Who's not Armin?
No, not that fucking All right. Were you on with Shannon Q?
What?
Uh-oh.
Were you?
He's on with somebody.
Have you been drinking?
I got something crossed.
There's something wrong. So. There's something wrong with your IQ.
Have I been where? I didn't understand the last thing.
Shannon Q. You thought that you?
Oh yeah.
I was there. Interviewed with anybody?
I was there. Yes, I was there.
Okay, that's where I have all your links from. I just got your name wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my mistake.
My ass and call me Sally. We're good.
Well, IQ that Ahmed's the only ex-Muslim atheist activist on the planet.
Yeah.
No, there's many. There's many. But there still needs to be more, in my opinion.
I know.
There does need to be more.
Oh, there are.
Ayaan Hirsi Ali is my favorite.
Yeah, she isn't really around anymore. I don't know why.
But I'm more friendly.
Drop back a bit, I think.
Fear for her life.
Friendly. That's weird.
I don't know if it's that, but she's not as active as she once was.
Yeah. I think I also contacted her once and wanted to talk to her, and she told me that her assistant actually told me that she was around these times she was more busy with family life and stuff like that, and she didn't want to be involved too much with the whole religion stuff anymore. I guess I kind of got that vibe that she's kind of wanting to move on a little bit, not wanting to be too active.
Could be.
Yeah, that's genuine.
Makes sense to me because she went through a lot of terrible stuff. So
she did.
She did.
Yeah. It's very, very hard.
I discussed having her on with someone else.
She's a phenomenal human being.
Mm-hmm. She is.
And they said that right now is not a good time for her. So I imagine that's probably why. So
yeah. She went on talking about Islam and being so vocal about it after the guy she made a film together with was killed in the middle of the street. Was stabbed, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Was stabbed in the middle of the street. So
stabbed to death.
Yeah, and she got a direct death threat from the same guy and from others as well. And she just went on and kept being vocal about it. So it's really that's a whole different world. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Having to look over your shoulder.
She made the video about female genital mutilation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I was circumcised too, but I don't remember. But and I didn't really have a choice. But
I actually do remember.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually do remember because it happened to me when I was at the age of I don't know how old I was. Was it like 5, 6 or something like that?
Holy crap!
And that's how it goes in Muslim societies where they don't do it right when you're when you are born and you're at the hospital in the first few days or so. They do that much later when you are a little bit older, and it's kind of a messed up experience.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And they celebrate that, and it's just weird to think of, like they're celebrating that, like after they put you on this table and chop your piece off, and they celebrate that, and everyone is like proud of you. Like, what the hell are you proud of? What the fuck are you proud of?
The clitoris.
I am no longer complete. Why are you celebrating?
This would be a good after party to have Dr. Winnell in right now. Because talking about a lot of this religious trauma stuff, I mean, because you know a lot of this definitely does tie in with mental health and a lot of that stuff.
It does.
And it's very mentally taxing on people,
Yeah, well, I'm lucky they did it to me when I was like 11 days old, so
yeah,
that's good.
Apparently I'm an addict of wine now, because that's what they do. Little Jewish kids, they stick a rag in the wine and then they shove it in the kid's mouth or whatever, right? So he's like, oh, well, the guy's like, and it's fucked because they snip and then he bites it. He sucks out the blood to make it cauterize or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
I think I had this phase after I stopped believing in Islam, where I thought, I looked at myself and other people who are uncircumcised, and I thought, who made this decision? I didn't want to do this. I didn't want this to be done. I kind of felt sad about that for a while. I guess I had this brief phase after I stopped believing, but then I got over it. So, but yeah, it's kind of a messed up thing to do.
Fucking doorknob.
There was that rabbi in New York that gave.
Well, you guys, one at a time, you guys, come on.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Duke. Rabbi in New York.
There was that rabbi in New York that gave all those kids herpes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think it got to the point. Didn't it get to the point where New York said that they can't even do that anymore or some shit?
The Hasidic tribes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to pass laws against that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I thought it was already illegal to put a baby's penis in your mouth, but I mean,
Yeah.
who the fuck am I, right?
I like what David said here.
Right.
God made us in his own image, only for humans to decide that he made a fucking mistake. So it makes me wonder, is God circumcised?
I don't know.
And if so, who did it?
Well,
Because I can't think you could do it to yourself. You know, I'd be like, I can't do it.
Well, why did God make you with a dick? Why did God make you with a dick?
technically, we all
He
start off
wanted you to cut it
female.
off.
Go ahead, Scott.
We all start off as female, so yeah, we do.
When you're talking chromosome-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. We all are female until the chromosome kicks in. We all had ovaries, the start of the formation of them, and they all dropped down, turned into testes, and that's why we have nipples, is because you used to be a female.
Yeah.
Well, sex is kind of what they say. It's a bimodal distribution or some shit. I think.
Yeah. Holy Testicle Tuesday, Batman.
Yeah. Wow.
But in the Bible, God made man first with a dick, and then told him to cut it off.
Yeah, but he also made the light and the plants and shit before he made the sun. So.
Yep.
You were going to say
something?
You were going to say something, Ridvan?
Oh, and I don't know. I already forgot what I was saying. I don't know.
Doorknob had the proper terminology, not residual nipples, they're called superfluous nipples.
Yeah, that was a weird thought when I started learning about that. After a while, especially when I didn't believe in the whole creation story of Islam anymore, and then I went into these whole new revelations of why I have nipples, and I thought, wait, what the hell? It's kind of a weird thought to be confronted with.
If played with right, they can still be kind of arousing. So
Yeah. Sometimes I go there, I guess. And just,
flip the shit out of them.
What is weird?
It takes me back.
What is weird is that's God's mistake in saying that, oh, well, I meant to make you also into partially a woman, but I forgot to actually complete the process.
Do you remember a TV show that had Rob Schneider in it? And I think it was called Men Behaving Badly or something. And he went to do some test with taking lactose pills so he could lactate like a female. And the poor guy, he goes and he tests, he's a drug tester. He takes the job of being a drug tester. So it's this whole lactating thing. And he's standing on an elevator and some supermodel, I can't remember who it was, but she's got this little puppy and she goes, I can't get him to drink. I can't get him to drink milk. And Rob's just like, as the doors are closing, he's like, grabs the puppy and he puts it under his shirt like this, like because he's lactating, because he can see his veins. Oh my God.
That must have been a Canadian thing.
No, it was American. It's an American show.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, maybe. And it didn't last long. Like, it only lasted for like fucking 5 episodes or something, and then it was done.
Oh, okay.
Google it. But and I'm sure you can find that shit on YouTube, because it's funny as fuck. That one episode is, anyways.
I think the biggest, I know Neil's going to kill me for it, because obviously I've been diagnosed with this, but my biggest concern is, how could God make somebody with schizophrenia?
Oh,
that is the
why would I kill it? Oh, that's it. You're dead.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. He didn't make you with that. That is the enemy attacking you. The whole reason that he allows it is so that you can be healed of that, and it brings you closer to him. It gives them something to fix.
Yeah,
so
but
it gives you this revelation that he is there.
Yeah,
That's
but you
why.
see that is the point. Like, schizophrenia is you don't understand, you don't know the difference between reality and not reality.
That's right. As a matter of fact, a perfect example of somebody religious that had schizophrenia would be Joan of Arc. They discovered that after doing some tests on her blood or leftover whatever. But anyways, they discovered that she actually had schizophrenia. That's why she was hearing the voice of God.
It's a weird thing. I mean, people didn't understand. People didn't even understand until very recent times that mental disorders exist. That these things are mental illnesses. They didn't know what a mental illness is. They just tried to explain these things as spiritual attacks or spiritual
demonic possession,
or your sins or demonic possession. And it has only been actually less than 100 years that we have only started understanding the proper concept of mental illnesses. Sure, a little bit before that, but it's only the last 100 years that we have actually started understanding that mental illnesses properly affect a lot of us, that these exist, that these can be categorized. And it's funny because for so many centuries, for 2,000 years or more or less, whatever, depending on religion and cultural context, people had no idea that mental diseases even existed, that mental disorders even existed. And what do you think? How many people were told to have communicated with God or with divine beings or with spiritual beings or traveling in a spiritual world or whatever, and all that was wrong with them was that they had mental disorders.
How many people were
about that?
How many people have suffered and even died because of things like exorcisms and things like that, based on
us figuring out that you can't let the voices out no matter how carefully used with a drill.
Yeah.
We seriously used to do that shit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
To drill into people's heads to solve, like even lobotomies, or is kind of a cousin to that. But they used to drill into people's heads to let out these mental illnesses because it was a bad thing that they just wanted to let out.
They did it to fix it. They did it to fix it.
Yeah.
And what is the worst thing today that I see today, even when still talking to my psychiatrist, is that they still treat it in some sense. Even when you see with the APA and some of those people, they still treat it as like, some of them make it out to be almost as if like hallucinations are there to be fixed or there to be 100% fixed, but they know through the scientific evidence and through the studying that these hallucinations don't go away. They can go away through control aspects, but hallucinations don't go away when you have schizophrenia. When you have schizophrenia, you're going to have hallucinations for the rest of your life. Period. There may not be the same hallucinations. You may be able to somewhat have some control of those hallucinations, but you're going to have hallucinations for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? And doctors
that certainly says they have no idea how to fix it.
Yeah, they come up with, they ask you like, do you have hallucinations? And it makes you feel like, oh, should I even mention about my hallucinations when they start asking you that, because it feels like they're guilt shaming you. And
I don't think that's what they're trying to do.
Instead of actually asking you the next step, like, what are your hallucinations?
Well, maybe they want to make sure that you have them first before they propose that question.
I know. But it's like, that's the feeling you get sometimes when you go into into a psychiatrist's office nowadays sometimes, and they know that when you have this diagnosis, it's almost nearly 100% of the time that you're going to have hallucinations. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
It's just they don't know what those hallucinations are, or how those hallucinations are playing out, and that is the question of it. It's not a matter of fact, are you having them? It's what are those hallucinations?
Right.
And they're not allowing. It's when you ask are you having hallucinations? It just feels like guilt shaming.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you still have to, Pikachu, you got to remember that.
Yeah.
I doubt that that's their intent. So you got to kind of keep reminding yourself right? That they are there to help.
Yeah.
However they can. And I think if you keep that in the back of your mind, it might be a little easier. Of course, this is easy for somebody like me to say who doesn't suffer from schizophrenia, right? So really, I just sound like an asshole. But still, I mean,
oh, no, you're gold.
I just,
I would speak at you.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's really difficult. It's really difficult to understand the disorder unless you have the disorder, kind of.
Of course.
I've only got a halfway.
Oh, really?
Schizoaffective disorder.
You already have it. You already have it.
Yeah, I'm.
If you have schizoaffective, if you have schizoaffective, you have schizophrenia, because schizoaffective is both schizophrenia and it's both schizophrenia and bipolar at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
Yeah, it's both of them at the same time. I have that too.
Isn't it just?
I take a lot of drugs.
Isn't it just a combination of the symptoms of them, though? I think it's not it doesn't include the disorders themselves. I think it includes just symptoms of those disorders, like symptoms of schizophrenia and symptoms of bipolar disorder. I think that was my understanding.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, because like schizophrenia could be a whole lot of different things. Basically, what
schizophrenics could just see different things. They don't understand.
Yeah, schizophrenia is basically you're not in the right sense of reality. You're not in the real reality at all. So you have no ability to understand what reality is and what it isn't. It doesn't matter if you're hearing voices. It doesn't matter if you're seeing things. It doesn't matter what is going on. You have no ability to understand what is real and what is not. Mm-hmm. That's basically what schizophrenia is. And what bipolar is you're getting depressed, or you're getting manic about it. And then the manic and the depressive side of it could be affecting the schizoid side of it, or the schizoid side of it could be affecting the manic and depressive side of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
got it.
Yeah. So like there's certain things like when you get manic, the certain side effects from manic side of bipolar could affect your schizophrenia, and then there's certain sides of the depressive side of it could be affected by the schizophrenia as well. And what I mean by that is that the schizophrenia can make it to where you don't want to eat at times, et cetera, et cetera. Like you just don't want to eat anything because you don't feel any reason to eat. So, and that's one of the side effects with schizophrenia, is that you just don't want to do anything at all, period, because you don't see any reason to do it at all. And when it's applied with the depressive side of bipolar, you're really not wanting to do anything at all. You're focusing on that depressive state. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
he's on
it. I don't envy you, my friend. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's suffering, but it's all right. We'll make it for you, Neil.
Yeah.
Well, as I've told Pikachu in the past, I've always got an ear to bend if anyone needs one. Right? So.
Yeah. The worst thing with schizophrenia, though, is that it's really, really, really affected by religious trauma.
Oh yeah.
And psychiatrists have nailed that down, that schizophrenia is really affected by religious trauma, and specifically what Dr. Marlene Winnell specializes in religious trauma syndrome can definitely affect elements of psychosis within schizophrenia, and how that happens is very important, because the way you go about coping with religious trauma,
hang tight, Diana.
Behavior, the way you deal with behavior related trauma is totally different than how you deal with schizophrenia. Because schizophrenia, you need to have a support system and a structure to help you with things. But when you have religious trauma, the problem is that you could have family members or people in that support system who are fundamentally a part of that same belief system that was causing the religious trauma to begin with, and could be problematic. And the people in the APA and some of those groups like that, they don't know how to handle that sort of situation the same way that they should directly, I think.
Man, this is depressing. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
This is certainly one topic I've learned not to argue with Pikachu about.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean it's a serious issue, and Pikachu always likes to come on and talk about this stuff, because in my opinion, it helps him to release this sort of thing, right? So I'm always down for that. But
I
anyway,
like to study psychology. It's an interesting topic to kind of to.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Ridvan, if you got family, dude, I've got
I'll leave.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just want to say again, thank you for joining me today, man. It was an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being on your channel. Thank you so much, and thanks everybody. I'll see you again.
We blow the wind. We blow the wind
my
of the
best to the
flying
family.
spaghetti monster on you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Peace, man.
Good
to meet you.
And we had Diana. Oh, well, we had Diana hanging out.
Diana's chair.
Diana, she's over here.
Cat lady.
Diana Clarion.
I think the teddy bear. Oh no, it's Diana.
Oh,
You got the old lady in her night dress. How you doing, folks?
you got
doing all right.
Good.
Doing good. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
You must be
Oh, man.
lonely.
I need a camp. There, I hear the cat.
Yeah. We got Sylvia hanging out in the background.
Sylvia, yes.
Okay.
All right,
We're in the
take
middle of a
it.
global apocalypse. Everybody's fucking lonely right now.
Well,
The
that's
one
why
good
these
thing-
are good.
There was
Not
one
really.
good thing about all this shit, and I guess you could say apocalypse was going on. But the one good thing was seeing him at Meta on Jeopardy.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. I'm gonna have him on the show. I'm gonna give him shit for fucking up that second round.
And
But,
bring his ass into saying why he's an atheist now.
Yeah, Hammond will be on.
He did good with the Bible. He did good with the Bible stuff, though. I tell you that. But
He did, oh, yeah.
terrible with everything else.
But he's a Muslim. I need
The thing
more
about
Crown Royal.
dude,
Oh,
the thing about this.
hang on a second, guys.
Okay.
IQ, this is for you. I don't know who the fuck's doing Morse code right now, but IQ, Aaron, X-Action Aaron, scheduled for tomorrow. She has to reschedule because her husband's not going to be home to wrangle the kids because everyone's home right now. Yeah, he's an essential service as well, so she's going to have to reschedule to a weekend. So I'm thinking I may not be able to have her on the show till fucking June 13th now.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Lord Neil, you've got a whole line queued up to be on your. You're just a little bit popular.
Well,
Neil, it's time for a smoke break.
It's the hair and the beard.
Okay. So wait a minute. I've got the hair. Should I grow a beard?
I don't think that would suit you right now, Dan.
What?
Something, man.
You know what? You know what?
Put her there. So
You know what pisses me off about the plague we're going through right now is that it was not the specific one I asked for when I did that blood ritual. that got this whole fucking thing started. Okay? Like I specifically said I wanted a plague to come along and affect only people who use cliches at people in service industries. Okay? I literally wanted I wanted instantaneous explosive diarrhea for any person that walks up to a person working and says things like, "Hey man, you working hard or hardly working? Is it hot enough out here for you?"
That one is tough.
Well, I tell you this though, to be honest with you, with the service industries here in New Orleans, though, there's a lot of places that have done a really good job at raising money, especially raising money to actually to give out food to the hospitals and the care providers here in the city of New Orleans. And some of these
and then there's Doorknob Head.
Yeah. But some of the people, some of the players from the New Orleans Saints, they own restaurants in the city of New Orleans, and they were getting some of their teammates together to go cook food for the different medical providers here in New Orleans and for some of the service industry people. And then some of the service industry people who could open were finding ways to raise money through different crowdfunding sites like Patreon and different other stuff. And then they were taking the money they were taking the food that they got and giving that to the medical providers in the different other places, like my medical provider, Oshner, and all that sort of stuff, and donating that to their nurses and to their this and to their medical, their people that are giving provisions to those people with COVID-19 and all that sort of stuff. So there's some people that are doing some really good work around here, around the area, you know?
Yeah, and this is a punch in the face to people like Ken Ham and all that stuff that go on about this is an evil generation and the world is broken and all this other crap. No, sir. No, just look around. You tell us to look around. You do some looking.
Well, what's the fucked up thing is that you have these fucking people going out there, religious institutions, fucking opening up, getting hundreds of people to gather together, knowing that this fucking virus is going on, getting 60, 70-year-old people that they know are fucking vulnerable to this virus, gathering together in mass crowds, knowing that they should not be shaking hands, knowing that they should not be, doing any kind of hugging, doing any of this kind of shit, knowing that they should be standing at least 6 feet apart, probably even 20 feet apart, to be honest with you. And they really shouldn't be at all in that church at all, period. Right. And they're going to these churches and they're getting sick in the churches.
Oh, but they're covered in the blood of the Lamb, don't you know? I mean, really, guys.
Just as bad as they're getting by their family members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
and people covered in animal blood what started all this shit.
Hey, I was just gonna say, being covered in blood is not nearly as fun as it sounds.
That's it, man, dude. That's
but it does look fancy in the moonlight.
All right, Norman.
In moonlight, covered in animal blood. Yeah.
I will say this one thing: there are some churches out there that are doing the right thing.
Oh yeah.
There are
yes. Oh yes. No. You know what? I'd like to speak up on that too, because my ex-pastor is doing that. He's shut down and he does everything remotely.
Good for him. Seriously,
online, and that's the right thing. They should be doing it online.
Yep, absolutely.
Like the Catholic churches are doing their masses online, which is what they should be doing. But these fucking mega churches and shit like that, not doing it online, and then breaking the law, and then having the fucking sheriff come in and have to fucking arrest the pastor because the pastor doesn't know how to fucking, doesn't care for the law.
They know just by listening to what they have to say, it's an act of defiance. You hear them say, they're not going to take away our rights. Listen, arsehole, there's this thing about the public good, which usually I thought trumped everything, if you'll excuse the phrase. I mean, even in cases that they will recognize, well, some of them anyway. For example, I could not marry 5 or 6 people at once, claiming a religious reason, because the Supreme Court, if I remember correctly, has already ruled that civil law trumps religious whatever in this particular case. Yeah. Same thing happens for the public good, really.
There's plenty of scripture out there to back it up. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they're just doing this whole persecution complex.
Well, what's even worse is that you have these pastors who've said for years that whenever the law of the country surpasses what they believe is God's law, then God's law comes first before the law of the country, which to me is treachery.
Yeah, and
It is treasonous for certain.
Yeah,
but there are scriptures that tell you to obey the leaders of your land, though.
Oh, certainly. Straight from Jesus'
kind of
mouth.
Feedback loop.
Isn't it? Romans 13?
Straight out of Jesus' mouth, he said, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. And if you really look at like most of Paul's writings that the people lean to when they're trying to give their authoritarian stance through the government, most of those writings were actually written in just talking about the church itself. It wasn't talking about enforcing the law outside of the church. It was, these are the things that you must adhere to be a part of the church. And if there's people in the church not adhering to these things, they can't be in the church. It doesn't actually,
But
it doesn't actually apply to the federal, to the government at large. It was never intended to.
But you know why they attach it to the government? It's because they believe the government is the Antichrist. They believe the government is part of the end times, part of this so-called the government is this thing that will eventually devolve into the end of the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Part of the falling apart. You know what I'm saying?
The government totally sucks, you motherfucker. The government totally sucks.
You know what? Fucking, this is completely off topic, but just you singing that just reminded me of a movie I watched yesterday. It's got David Duchovny in it, and it's called Evolution. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's another
fucking
film
funny.
I haven't seen. Kate was going
Goddamn, dude.
After film yesterday. Did you see this one? Did you see this one? All she's hearing is no, and it's like, oh my god.
It's funny. It's good. It's an Ivan Reitman. Can't go wrong with Ivan Reitman. He did Ghostbusters. So I mean, and of course, being Ivan Reitman, of course, what's his name's in it? Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
You talk about the scene though where he's in the mall singing, and dude's like, "God damn, boy, rub some funk on it, then."
Yeah, exactly. So you've seen the movie when they're in there hunting down
I've seen it.
Dragon-looking raptor thingy or whatever.
Yeah, and then they figure out that that the best way to get rid of the monsters is sell some blue.
No.
Head and Shoulders.
That's it, because it has selenium in it.
Oh no! Oh no!
Well, the way they figured that out was amazing too, because if you look at we're carbon-based life forms, and you go 2 down and 1 over, arsenic will kill us. And then you go, they're what are they, nitrogen-based or something? And you go 2 down and over, 1 over. No, it's not nitrogen. Sorry, it's something else. And then selenium would be their poison. So that's how they figured it out.
So they make this giant fire truck selenium enema.
Yeah.
Neil, this is what gets me about the whole thing with you know how I talk about schizophrenia a lot, but this is what gets me about the whole process of what antipsychotics and eventually the future of antipsychotics is that I'm personally of the thought that the body has a chemical limit and that you can't pass that chemical limit or else it starts screwing up. And that I started thinking that, psychiatry, I think one day is going to start saying that, look, we can't rely upon on chemistry anymore so much to start trying to help people with things like schizophrenia anymore. So the way of trying to help people to cope with schizophrenia is to deal with technology now, and to use technology in certain things like technological stuff. I think I've told you this before. To use technology instead of chemistry to help cope with schizophrenia and other disorders like that. What do you think?
Technology?
Yeah.
Instead of chemistry?
Yeah.
How?
So in other words, would it be something like interfacing the brain?
And plants and other things.
I see. Okay.
It'd be something really far in the future.
Or maybe not.
It would be some way to interface the brain into some kind of circuitry module that would alter the way the brain neurons fire, right?
Yeah.
They actually have something now where they can replace broken neurons with these little fucking tiny little robot things that go in there and function as a neuron, but properly.
Holy shit. Really?
I kid you not. They have these things now that they're working on. Yeah.
What I'd like to know then is how they worked out the receiving signals. And sending signals might not be so bad, but that whole neurotransmitter thing that's going on.
It's all electric.
Well, it's all electric, and then you've got
right, all electric, and
it's bioelectric.
Well, it'd be a matter of determining which way the neurons fire, right? Because you have presynaptic and postsynaptic neurons.
It's in the beginning stages, so
yeah, but the whole thing about knowing when to fire and how to fire is the little molecules that come from the synaptic terminal.
The likelihood is because the thing is because schizophrenia also has a DNA part to it. It may not cure the hallucinations as well. So it's not going to cure the hallucinations neither. It's just going to be another way of coping with it.
Okay, I wonder if one of my old professors is in on any of that. He's heavily studying the dynamics of schizophrenia. And my favorite prof, by the way, Tony Grace. Everybody was lined up around the block twice to work in his lab. He was that popular.
Yeah. Well, they have to go. It's kind of like they have to go this route because the new technologies that they're having now with virtual reality, with EEG stuff, with all this other sort of video game stuff and anything like that, it's going to be much more harder to define that black line between reality and not reality the further we get into the future with these really advanced technologies. So they're going to have to have some kind of technological way of dealing with this.
Right. So what you're saying, Pikachu, is that in the near future, there'll be a virtual reality system where I can finally have my incorporeal squeezable titty?
Probably.
Yes.
Of course, that's where you're going to go with it, Duke.
Yeah. You're goddamn right.
Everything goes with Duke.
I want a titty to squeeze, man.
This is Duke, man.
I'm just a
All
guy.
roads end in titty.
I'm just a guy looking for a titty to squeeze.
You're a sick man, Duke. That's why I love you.
Oh, God. I know. It's so awful, too. Like, I look at myself in the mirror sometimes, and I think, why?
But they already kind of see the thing is with like YouTube and stuff like that, there's already psychological issues even with YouTube where there's effects with even bigger YouTubers to where their avatar kind of becomes them.
Yeah.
And
that's been going on with across the board with social media, though. where people are. It's the same thing with like Instagram, where people are using these filters and things to change the way they look, and it's like they become less and less.
It's not just that they become that in social media. It's that carries over to real life.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's a term for it. Lacey Green had a term for it. She'd actually made a video on it. It was actually really clever. Now I can't remember it, but yeah, there's a dysphoria. It's a form of dysphoria. I don't know, social media dysphoria maybe. It's where, but that's been not just the only issue. It's one of those weird things. Like, I hate to throw praise at Stephen Furtick because I think he's kind of a dink, but he did have this really great saying once where he says, when you're looking at people's social media, such as Facebook and things like that, you're looking at their highlight reel. You're not looking at what's actually happening in their life. So don't compare your life to somebody else's highlight reel. And as much as he annoys me, interestingly enough, like he got in with Joel Osteen because Furtick had that huge mega church. Furtick went to college with my ex-wife, and I've actually met him a couple times, which is really funny because when I met him, I was already an atheist. He shook my hand and said, "I can just tell off the bat that you're a good, godly man." It was like,
they'll haul out your pen. Guess what, asshole? He said, "I've always been a real good judge of character."
Your intuition sucks, Furtick.
To get back to what you were saying, though, how advanced that's gotten, there's probably a chance, and I would not be surprised if some doctors do enough studying on this that when the DSM-6 comes out, that becomes some sort of disorder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. You mean presenting yourself as an avatar or basing your...
No, you actually the social media.
Oh, you actually becoming your avatar. Well, hasn't that somewhat been the case as long as there have been avatars, though? Really?
It's kind of become the case since Xbox made their virtual reality humanoid system thing that they had on the 360 or whatever, and it's somewhat been the case previous to that, but it really stepped up when Microsoft made the Xbox Live avatar, humanoid avatar, and Windows Live humanoid avatar.
I know. I worked with a guy who wouldn't have anything to do with you, really, if you didn't present your own face to the camera. He didn't want to talk to anyone hiding behind an avatar, as he called it. And I kept telling him, Dr. Jones.
No, this isn't just you presenting.
If you remember my going on NCT Studios, and his thing was, he wouldn't give you any credibility if, as he called it, you hid behind an avatar. And I'm telling Dr. Jones, these people are in serious trouble. If they are outed, they could lose everything. And I don't care.
Well, it's not just that they're hiding behind an avatar; it's that they are the avatar, according to the way that it would be. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. They're becoming they're developing a dysphoria between between their actual identity and the identity that they present online via their avatar or via their whatever their stick is.
Dead City.
But the disability may or may not really be a problem at all. So it just may be just one of those disabilities that just becomes a disability thing that the APA throws out there, so to speak. So it may not even be that much of an issue because they throw out disabilities all the fucking time. Too, you know?
Yeah. I'd really like to look at that sort of thing and see how it's presented, how it presents itself, and how prevalent it is. And I mean, is it that you're becoming a cartoon character, or are you just effectively using that as advertisement? I mean, there's a big difference between those two.
No, you're basically.
I am a living cartoon character. I've always been a living cartoon
getting
character.
attached so much to that cartoon, to that character that you're doing anything in real life to present yourself, make yourself look like that character.
Okay. Oh my.
Even if it's not in a cartoon way. And this
I'd really like to be able to talk to some people who do that and find out their perspectives.
Yeah. So the diagnosis would be that some people could go as far as doing surgical plastic surgery to make themselves look like who they are having what they're having a dysphoria as.
Well, yeah, that already happens. There's the guy that had all those surgeries to make himself into Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
That's
why.
But they're gonna have. It's almost guaranteed that the APA is gonna come out with a disorder about that at some point.
Wait, Dead City. Are you saying that you are? Well, I thought you were joking around when you originally said I am my avatar. Are you saying that you identify so strongly with your avatar that?
A lot of people do. Everybody does, almost. A lot of people do on this internet. It's not just me. There's so many people that do. It's not. So I could be.
Okay, then I didn't know I knew somebody like that. Okay, we'll have to talk about this. Really, maybe even on air if you don't mind that. We'll see what happens.
But I would not.
I didn't even know this sort of thing existed.
I would not make that diagnostic element until that has been met by a psychiatrist, and because you shouldn't be making diagnoses or any sort of diagnosis unless you are a trained psychiatrist in that element. In there.
So what? I shouldn't diagnose Trump as a piece of shit?
No. No one.
I diagnosed him with having tiny hands.
There's a real reason why you shouldn't. There's a real reason why you shouldn't, because like I saw this video about this guy. I was looking up some stuff about transgender people who have schizophrenia and how gender dysphoria and schizophrenia where they would overlap between.
Oh, really?
Psychiatrists would actually make the determination between where somebody who has schizophrenia is also gender dysphoric, and where they need to go through the process of becoming transgender. And somebody's video came up where they said that no, everybody who's transgender is schizophrenic, and I was like, dude, no, that's not true. You can't diagnose people that have gender dysphoria as schizophrenic because it's offensive. Number one, yes, it's ableistic and it violates the terms of service on YouTube, and you can get terminated instantly for doing that on YouTube. And they don't play around when you start talking about schizophrenia on YouTube. They will terminate you very, 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 very quickly if you're making that kind of ableistic element on YouTube. And the thing is that you cannot be diagnosing people with schizophrenia or with any kind of mental illness like PTSD or any of that sort of stuff just on the fly out of whatever reason, just because you disagree with them or for any reason whatsoever, period. Unless you are certified as a psychiatrist and you're working at a psychiatric hospital and they are seeing you a psychiatric hospital or a psychiatric doctor's office, and they are either seeing you at a psychiatric hospital or a psychiatric doctor's office.
Well, I'm certifiable. Does that count?
Yeah, but you have to be. If you are a psychiatrist, you have to be at that field.
No, dear. I was just joking a little bit. I'm certifiable,
Because the reason why I say that is because you have to be following the criteria given forth by the state that's put forth by that is followed by the United States government, that they put forth for all psychiatrists to follow, or else under the law they can fire you. Because if it gets out that you're a psychiatrist and you're going to Walmart and diagnosing just strangers on the street with something like schizophrenia, then your hospital provider, your hospital or your place of work could fire you instantly. And they will do that. In the state
then.
Yeah, we get it.
There are a lot of
diagnoses. Don't diagnose people.
Yeah. And the deal is that if you're on the internet diagnosing people, you should know that if a psychiatrist can't go to Walmart and diagnose somebody without getting his license revoked for diagnosing people at Walmart just on the side of the street, then you should know you should not be doing it on YouTube.
Oh God, Dead City.
Granted, no, I don't. I agree with you. I don't think anybody should be that's not qualified or just about mental illness. I mean, if you're not qualified in the medical field, you shouldn't be saying anything about any kind of medical diagnosis of any kind. Period. Yeah. Like that's something. Like I work in the medical field, and I am very adamant with people about I can't talk to you about any of your medical conditions because I'm not qualified to. I actually had fights because they used to get pissed off at us when we would come and tell them we had a chest pain. They'd get annoyed because they didn't want to stop what they were doing. And one of them said, one of the charge nurses said to me, look, you just need to use your best judgment. And my immediate response was, my best judgment is that I'm not qualified to make any judgment calls on behalf of any of the patients who come through the doors of this hospital. You're medical and I'm not, so you come do it.
See, that's the thing, most of these doctors who go on like MSNBC, CNN to make medical analysis of different political people, you should never trust them, because most of the time, I guarantee you this, they probably don't even work in the field anymore. Or they probably don't even work in the field at all.
Fuck, man, I left you were yammering on, and now I come back and you're still yammering on? What the hell?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that's what this was for, really. Yeah, Dead City just said, Neil, that when you get back, we should annoy you to get Dead City on. And I see that it's retracted now.
I know. Jen wants to join.
Jen's always
I gotta jump out because our battery's dying.
Oh, I'm gonna miss you, sweetie.
I know I don't get to see you guys often enough.
Yeah, I know.
I'm down to the StreamYards eats my battery alive, dude, on my phone. And even if I plug my phone in, it does the weak battery charging thing because it's using so much more power than I can put back into it.
You turn your screen brightness down, make sure that you've got a charger that's pumping out enough amps. You've got something that's just 1,000 milliamps, it's not going to cut it. You need 2.4.
I've got 2.4.
Shoo!
By the way,
screen down, make sure Facebook is not running in the background. That kills your battery too.
Oh, does it ever?
Damn it!
Oh, it is running in the background. Well, fuck me.
I'm the battery whisperer.
Fuck me in the neck of the screwdriver.
I just might. I am that lonely.
By the way,
you're the battery whisperer. I'm the titty whisperer.
I was waiting for that one.
IQ.
Yes.
Saturday, May 9th is a possibility for Felicia.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well, if that's still a possibility, I'll keep it open. Let me know.
Wait.
I want to join the one with Felicia.
Do you mean Felicia? By Felicia, do you? By Felicia, do you mean the patron saint of farewells?
No. Felicia Entwistle from Utah.
You know,
Outcast.
Bye Felicia.
Yeah, not the bye Felicia pun.
I want to join an after party with Felicia so badly.
Yeah, well, she I don't know when she's gonna be for sure on, but I mentioned to her that May 9th was the next available Saturday, so I think she'll probably end up taking that one. But her back is out, right? So we're just waiting for her to heal up.
I got something funny to tell her that she would love.
Oh, I bet. I can't believe when I booked Peter Boghossian, he gave me fucking homework to do.
At least you know it was Peter.
Yeah. It's like he's like, I'll read you the email he sent me, man. It's fucking funny as shit. Where am I? All right. Peter Boghossian. Okay. So, and I was like, yeah, no problem, man. Okay, hang on. He goes, few things. One, no virus talk. Okay. No mentioning Trump. Number 2, no problem. Please have read my latest book and let's talk about that for at least the beginning 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, sure. Fuck, your book is great. So I don't have a problem talking about that at all. So I responded to him like that. So the guy gave me fucking homework, for fuck's sakes.
He says, I want a bowl of entirely all blue M&Ms in the green room. Wait for it.
It's like the opposite of Van Halen.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
That's great.
Holy fuck, man. Wow, I got a lot of subscribers thanks to Ridvan. Wow, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad at all. Uh-oh, my bass player. Uh-oh.
Oh,
I'm a bass player.
Yeah. He's not he's negative. So that's good. And he works in old folks' homes here, so they're the ones that are being just railed by this fucking COVID shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, literally 99% of the cases here where I live are in an old folks home. Like, it got in there and is wreaking fucking havoc, dude.
He had a couple.
There's a bank here that we've gone to 3 times for confirmed case sanitation, and I'm like, dude, the other employees in that branch understand that they're all positive. More than likely.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's disconcerting.
It is.
It is. Well, he claims to be fine, but there were 5 people that worked there that tested positive. 3 are on the mend, and the other 2 are still in quarantine. And but he has shown no symptoms, and he's been tested as negative, so that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. It's hard because people want to come to the hospital to get tested for it, and we don't do that at the hospital unless you're symptomatic. And that's been a major hurdle of just trying to explain. You know, like, people will come up and be like, I want to be tested by COVID. And it's like, we are absolutely happy to see you and treat you, but we can't guarantee you that you're going to get the test. And then they get mad. And it's like, we only have a limited number of these things. We gotta prioritize so that we know if somebody comes in and they're symptomatic with everything going on, we need to know whether or not, what is that? Is that flu? Is that, do you have a very just bad upper respiratory infection, or do you have fucking COVID-19? Because if you have COVID-19, we have to isolate you away from every fucking body else. We got to create a clean room. Everybody has to scrub in. Like,
hey y'all, hope you're having a good time.
The hell?
To me, is that about this COVID-19 is that what gets to me is
somebody just.
What?
Who's watching hamster porn?
It was I was checking something out, and this advertisement came for one of those portable, foldable computer tray things.
What
That's all
gets
that was.
me is
It was a hamster fucking porn.
what gets to me. What gets to me is how you're having these whole medical providers that have 40 and 50 hospitals. They're like, 15 floor hospitals that are just nothing but coronavirus stuff. And it's 40 hospital providers, and each of their hospitals are 14 floors. It's all coronavirus. And even their mental hospitals are having to quarantine for coronavirus and for mental. So to speak,
this is a terrible time to get hurt.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
Wait, who
It certainly is. And the thing about it is as at least here in America, as a fucking we're supposed to be the first world country of first world countries. No. And it's like, how are we not prepared for the eventuality of a pandemic?
They said,
how are we not prepared for the eventuality of a pandemic? How did we not have a fucking game plan for literally the oldest fucking thing in the book? Like, the one thing that's guaranteed to happen on a long enough fucking timeline, we're not ready for. How did that fucking come about?
For it? You know how we prepared for it? We fired the pandemic team about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Jen just said
probably because they said something about his.
This is what happens when you put an asshole in the White House.
We didn't need them anyway. It's been like 100 years.
That's why I would have liked Barack Obama in the White House better than this, because Obama would have handled this situation a whole lot better. It's like I said, when Dr. Fauci came out and said that we needed this whole country to be shut down, he would have got out there with his pandemic team. He would have got out there with his pandemic team. He would have heard that he needed to shut the country down. Then he would have turned to his psychology team. He would have said to the White House psychology team, how do we shut this country down without other people knowing about it? They would have went and they probably would have blacked out the media on television. They would have had all restrictions on, they would have video restrictions on the different media sources that have media passes into the White House and into this. And the only thing that they would have been able to do is write blogs about it on the internet, and there would have been no video media coverage of the passing of that resolution by Congress or by anybody of this happening at any sense in time. When they would have suspended things like the Constitution, or they would have enacted they would have closed every single one of the counties down, throughout the nation, because they wouldn't have wanted everybody to freak out about it. You know what I'm saying? And they would have wanted to contain the virus on a county by county basis across the entire country.
Certainly. Hey guys, love you to death. Mean it. I'm gonna check out. Y'all have a great night. It's good seeing you.
I do.
Well, take care, honey.
I'll send Jen a link.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You guys got to see this fucking. Oh fuck! Look at this. Hang on. Wait for it. No, it's not working. Let me see if I can do this properly. Because this is what she sent me. Let me in. That's fucking great. All right, hang on a second. Hang on, Jen. Hang on. Fuck's sakes. We'll get your panties in a bunch. Hang on. Here we go. Did I just say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
I did, didn't I?
Yes.
All right.
Everyone knows how bunchy panties are very awkward.
I had some more thoughts on that last thing, because you see, like, the thing is that you see Trump. Like I said, Trump would have blurted that shit out, and the thing is, all these religious nut jobs would have came out, and the people like Alex Jones would have said they're going to institute the FEMA camps, to this, to that, blah 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 blah, and the whole fucking 9 yards. And we all know Nomney would have complained about it, just like I said. That's exactly what Trump would have did. That's why I don't trust Trump.
Hello.
What's going on?
I got done with my workout like about an hour ago, so my bones hurt.
Your bones hurt. Right.
Yeah, I walked for like 2 miles.
Oh shit! How do your bones hurt though?
Cause I am what the kids call thick with a capital K, so a lot of weight, and I only wear flip flops because I'm a Floridian. So yeah, my bones hurt.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
How do y'all deal with that governor in Florida, though?
Oh, Ron DeSantis, the guy who says that church is a necessity and should be open.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I deal with it. I choose not to believe that that's actually my governor.
Oh, sounds legit.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Look, I like to think that I am the supreme ruler of the world. That's how I live my life. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you definitely need to be in a mental ward. No, I'm just kidding.
I've already been there. That's where I got the idea.
They were very reassuring. They kept telling him he was, or she was. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm not gonna get hung up on it. Oh, okay. So going back to this is like a hella far back jump into the conversation, but y'all were talking about cartoon avatars.
Yeah.
Since I'm a cartoon avatar YouTuber, I thought I'd shed some light on this. Also, I'm a furry, so I have like a double understanding of this.
Oh my.
I don't think that my character is me. I don't think I am my character. I think my character is me, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of my quote-unquote fans match my voice to my character more so than my face.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, like, you know, my character is kind of me, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then I have my, this is going to sound cringy, fursona, which, you know, I relate to a lot more because I put more, like, personality into it. I still don't think that I am my character, but my character is me, you know?
I think I get it. I really do think I get it. Yeah, you're presenting yourself to the world as that character. You are you, but yeah, is that close?
Yeah, and honestly, I use a character because one, I get away with like making jokes a lot easier because it's not really me saying it. I'm playing like a, you know, I'm playing a scumbag zombie cat on the internet who's just a douchebag. But like,
you're playing me.
And so yeah, that's basically like my experience with you being an avatar YouTuber. I just, because y'all were talking about that earlier, I wanted to weigh in on it.
Yeah.
Well, there could be some negative connotations when it comes to projected self-image, but when it really comes to a better description of how you feel about yourself and how you've recognized yourself and the attitude that you portray, and there's everything that kind of comes together as, I guess, maybe your ID is better representation is happening there with that persona. You know, it's just like how I feel about me. This is a better representation of me and how I see myself.
It kind of depends, because, you know, I have like several different characters. There are some characters where I'm definitely like, because I used to be a theater kid in high school. I'm definitely playing out a character like, you know, a purposefully not me representation that just holds some of my ideals. But then I do have like my persona, which that's like my ideal self-representation.
Now this is interesting. Am I hearing correctly? Am I hearing you say fursona?
Yeah, fursuit.
Oh,
It's
okay. I was wondering
yeah.
if that was somehow connected to being a furry. Okay.
It is.
I think it's brilliant.
At least my ears are working correctly. Okay, gotcha.
I know that's cringy, and I'm sorry, Neil, for
No,
talking about cringy bullshit on your channel.
See, to me, it's like the whole idea where if you should change that or not. Like, if you have schizophrenia, it's like it's all based on the whole way that they base it. It's kind of like the way that they base the way that they see gender dysphoria with schizophrenia as well, and that's all based on the arbitrary whims of the psychiatrist, depending upon what whether the person is in a delusional state or not, and what their state of psychosis is. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's definitely people who dissociate, like, if they feel really attached to their character.
Yeah.
But, like, in my experience, most people who have an avatar and present themselves as said avatar do have a separation. I know there are some cases, like, especially in the otherkin community, which I don't necessarily agree with otherkins that much because some of them do questionable things. Not that furries don't, but like, you know. And I would say that my dysphoria does impact my character and like does impact how I see things, but
yeah. The problem that I was explaining though is that in the far future they're looking at technologies are going to be so they're possibly thinking the technologies are going to be to the point where there is no black defining line between that at all, and that you're going to need some kind of technology to create that black defining line.
That reminds me of the Black Mirror episode where like everyone lives in like a 4x4 screen. If you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if y'all have seen that episode.
No.
The guy's girlfriend becomes a porn star and he gets cucked.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that the computer is going to be creating the simulations are going to be so naturalized with what you're seeing that you won't be able to tell the difference between them because of this technology. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you won't be able to know what is real and what is not real without the technology being hard line.
Is this a real life?
To
Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
It's basically it's the technological version of LSD.
Well, that sounds fucking awesome. I want some virtual LSD.
It's awesome to us. It's awesome to us, but to a psychiatrist, it's fucking a nightmare.
Wednesday's open apparently, unless of course I have a barbecue planned.
Hey, yo, don't skimp out on the barbecue. You got.
I never do.
Every now and then, you just gotta grill out with the boys.
Yeah.
Have a few brewskis. Fucking.
That's like every other day here.
You know what? I'm glad. Unfortunately for me, I'm too lazy to uncover the grill.
I'll tell you,
that doesn't take very long, and once you get that covered, you're gold.
I mean, I have this really nice gas-powered grill, right? I never fucking use it. I probably should.
Oh my! If this pandemic horse crap ever ends, I've got to have all you guys down here and have a backyard barbecue.
Oh yeah!
Jeff and Karis were supposed to have been here. Unfortunately, Jeff went and died. Not fun. But okay, we've got to do the next best thing. We've got to get everybody down here, set up a horseshoe pitch, and do burgers and hot dogs and chickens, and
you got to get a cornhole game too.
Yeah,
Am I
okay,
invited?
do that. Oh hell
Am I
yes!
invited?
Absolutely, yay! Now I was actually really and truly thinking about how the heck could I get a gathering, convention without being a convention. happening down here.
The Diana Convention.
Yeah, there you
let's
go.
call it Lavender Con. That sounds
Oh God, that's a great name. If I have to say it myself, we've got to figure out a way to do this. You know, pictures and everything, man.
We could sell tickets for like $5,000. You know, like.
You're a sick man, Doorknob Head. That's why I love you.
Doorknob Head, more like Knob Head. Jesus.
Oh, jeez, man. Okay,
that was fucking funny.
I wish that I were a multi-billionaire and I could just fly all you folks down here on my dime and the whole bit like that. But unfortunately, that's not very. What's the word for it?
Right?
Say again, honey?
I said if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride, right?
Yes, absolutely.
How
God, I
big
haven't
are
heard
you
that
guys
one in a while.
on, how big are you guys on crawfish balls and shit as well with barbecues?
I like my crawfish like, you know, whole so I can suck out the brains. I know that's a little bit of like a, you know, people say ew, but like that's just a southern thing, you know. You gotta
Dude, we have crawfish balls down here.
Crawfish balls? How do you get their little legs apart?
Eat the ass.
It's like a Swedish meatball, but it's the testes of a crayfish.
Right. You have to talk dirty to them and tickle them a little bit.
Yeah.
They are a snip.
Sometimes they're a bit kinky, so you gotta tie them up first.
Oh, God.
This is the kind of shit you can hear on my show, folks. Crawfish balls. Kinky crawfish balls. Yeah. You never know what's popping up on this damn show. Scott, are you still with us? I think we shocked him into submission.
Okay, what did
He might have a thing for crawfish. He'll be back in a second.
Yeah, he's like, I need crawfish now.
Oh my!
I'm experiencing some major technical issues, so if I like freeze up, I am.
You are freezing. You're doing the whole.
Yeah, I look like a deer in headlights that's in stop motion.
Yeah.
Okay then. Yeah, I'm having all sorts of audio problems. I had to take my microphone out of the system and work from the stuff that's attached to my video cameras. Well, Neil, I think you've heard it happen on my where you get that high-pitched whining thing.
Yep.
It's no longer intermittent. It happens all the time. So I have a feeling that the mic is shot. It's only a year old, damn it.
Maybe. You're sure it's not the sound card itself?
Well,
just interfacing with the mic well?
It does the same thing on two different machines.
Oh, then it's the microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
Cena, I would use my built-in microphone to try to reduce lag, but then I couldn't do something like, "This is my voice mod working."
Yeah, it's working.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
That's what people who can't sing use.
Welcome to the darkness. I am Lord Satan.
Pretty good.
Let's get Ray Comfort in here.
Oh yeah, no, you'll make him pee himself. I'm pretty sure he's at the age now that he wears like Depends and shit. So,
Ray?
I have
He's actually not that much older than I am, if I remember correctly.
No, I was saying get Pat Robertson in here and do that.
Pat Robertson.
I have
you'd kill him. He would die of a heart attack.
I have a character that I used to play on Discord all the time called Ray Discomfort. It's just Ray Comfort, but like evil.
Right, mate. Now, if you're a dirty reprobate, you're going straight to hell. Gotta ask yourself this question. Would this be happening to you if you were a good person?
I'm actually a bit surprised. Ray is a little bit older than I had thought. I had thought that he was around 66, 67. Turns out he's 70.
I'm surprised he hasn't evolved into a soda can or whatever his argument was.
Wait, who? Ray Comfort?
Yeah, remember Ray Comfort's classic argument? Atheists think that if you put a dime on top of a mountain, it will evolve into a soda can.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
The atheist's nightmare. A banana.
Who's the one with the peanut butter argument? That a life form should crawl out of a peanut butter jar.
No. I think wasn't that Ken
Well, no,
Ham?
I'm asking who that was. I know it wasn't Ray.
Was it Ken Ham?
No, I don't.
it sounds
think
like something
so.
that Neanderthal would say.
Was it Kirk Cameron? Kirk Cameron, I think.
That does kind of sound like a Kirk Cameronism.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron looks like a goddamn
I
alien.
think it was Kirk Cameron that did the Coke can thing, and it was Ray Comfort that did the banana. Was it?
No, but Ray Comfort
Yeah,
did the
Ray Comfort
cocaine
did the
thing.
banana.
He did the cocaine thing in the same video as the banana.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
I remember that vividly. Kirk Cameron, can we just say, like, there are people on this earth that look like aliens that almost make me believe in conspiracy theories. Kirk Cameron's one of those people. I don't know if it's a Star Trek thing or if he just, like, genuinely doesn't look human. Another person I have that problem with is Benedict Bumbleback.
Benedict Bumbleback?
That's
Barnold Binglebing?
That's the good part about being schizophrenic. You actually get to see. You actually get to see.
Look at this.
Here we go.
You get to see Ray Comfort look like a fucking demon or some shit.
No problem.
Alien Millsrow, I am racist against you, okay? I'm a zombie and I'm coming to get your xenophilic ass.
If they're alien, they're not really racist. You're speciesist.
I'm lifeist, okay? Unless you're a zombie like me, you're just inferior.
Oh,
There you go. Turns out that Rational Wiki presents something on the peanut butter argument, which they say was presented by Chuck Missler, whoever that is.
Oh, Chuck Missler, the toe tickler. He also believes in aliens. I was going to do an entire mini series on him, and I completely forgot. I have him bookmarked still. Hold on, let me pull up my Chuck Missler little bookmarks here.
Yeah, because I found the video that Rational Wiki presents.
It's Supernatural 2009, 12, 14, Chuck Missler. It's all about fucking aliens.
Oh no.
Yeah, I remember that guy now, yeah.
Chuck Missler wasn't he like a big televangelist back in the day?
I'm
unfamiliar with him, really.
Alien Millsra, I don't know how he wronged you. He made it poke fun of you, but it's okay. Don't worry.
Huh? What?
I still like you, so.
I have a mustache.
Yeah, suddenly.
I used to have a long goatee before coming out as trans.
What made you get rid of it?
Because I finally got rid of like the years of trauma of a therapist being transphobic.
Oh, gotcha.
I had the goatee to hide my inner feelings.
I see. Okay. Is that what they told you?
They told me that trans people don't exist and that I was just seeking attention. And I was trying to be a burden to my family.
Christ. Oh, man. I would like to set those arseholes on fire. Because I've been told by more than one person, that I'm just doing it all for the attention. It's like, hey, asshole, this attention you don't want.
Like, after struggling with it for like 5 or 6 years, I've started realizing, this wasn't just in my head.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it kind of hits you hard. It's like, no, I'm not imagining this horse shit.
Thank you for subbing, by the way.
It's who you
How
are.
do they still have a license?
It really came to me that I was trans when I figured out how much I did not want to be trans because trans people go through shit.
I can agree with that.
I wanted, above all once, to just be a cross-dresser, for fuck's sake. So much easier.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say this, but I genuinely hate being trans because like I still feel embarrassed by it because of the damage done by my therapist. So that's cute, right?
And what's worse?
You gotta get over that.
What's worse is when you have other disorders on there and they think that you're insane.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I get you.
Especially being bipolar, they think I'm like, you know, just like my mind's just not wired right. That's also fun.
Or they think, or like when you have schizophrenia, they start thinking, oh, you're in psychosis, you're having delusions, you're this, you're that, and then all of a sudden you go through the process of eliminating all the delusions, and they get to the point of where all your delusions are eliminated, and you realize that one thing that they keep saying is a delusion is not really a delusion, and it's the gender dysphoria, and they keep saying that it's still a delusion, and it's not a delusion.
These people have fucking licenses to practice.
They still do it, you know?
Here's the issue, right? Is because there's a lot of therapists that don't have like any knowledge on gender studies because it's such an old practice. You know, there's still, you know, I'm using
it's fairly
conservative
recently come out as what it is today too. Right?
Yeah, but like there's still a lot of, and I'm using this term different than in a political sense, conservative viewpoint, like therapists, right? Where they think that all of this quote unquote new shit, which, you know, if you look back throughout history, being trans has been a thing.
Oh yeah,
since
forever.
like the dawn of civilization, right?
Yeah,
but they
before
still think
that,
that
even really.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the earliest evidence we have is like, you know, so far back that this isn't just something that sprung up, but like, you know, they still hold true to like the societal taboo that trans is just like a figment of the imagination, which really sucks. And it sucks for someone like me who's not going to get bottom surgery because like that shit's scary. But like, because of that, you know, it's, I don't know. It's annoying. Life is annoying. Yeah. Life is a series of punches to the gut.
Well, what's
in
worse,
some ways,
like,
yeah.
I was looking at this, like thinking about those people that have schizophrenia and have gender dysphoria and actually do have gender dysphoria, and then the psychiatrist never diagnoses them for gender dysphoria because they constantly are thinking that they have, thinking that they're still delusional and so forth. And the thing is that a lot of people with this disability end up having to change their psychiatrist just to get that diagnosis for gender dysphoria.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the psychiatrist will not make that decision.
I'm currently in talks with my general psychologist for my bipolar to see if he can get me in touch with like a gender specialized therapist.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun because I got a job, and whenever this coronavirus thing ends, I'll be able to afford it.
Yeah.
That was kind of the turning point for me. As a matter of fact, I got hooked up with a specialty clinic. It's called the Persad Center here in Pittsburgh, which provides services for queers of all stripes, but especially for trans kids. And that's where I finally really got to be able to get moving on transition and everything else like that. It's just too bad that I'm not swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck. Otherwise, I'd have had everything by now. You know, I mean, Jen, you're afraid of bottom surgery. Yeah, it is a little scary. I mean, you've got some major work going on here, but the one thing that keeps me from it, I can't afford it.
That's very fair. I mean, I know it's expensive to do cosmetic surgeries like that, and then like a lot of people try to convince you not to do it. But
a friend of mine once told me, it's really great. You know, what do you mean expensive? Mine was only $25,000, and it's like, okay.
But the thing is that most of the psychiatry department, like once you get the approval from the psychiatrist, you should be able to get Medicare to pay for it. But the problem is when the psychiatrist is sitting there saying, why do you want to have this why do you want to have this surgical operation done? I think you have a delusion going on, this and this and this, blah 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 blah. Then and that you're not Mary blah 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 blah. You're not Mary Jane. You're John blah 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 blah. Then they start saying, no, you're in a state of psychosis. You need to go to the psych ward, not to the surgery, and try to get this surgery operation done. So that's the problem.
So many people have said at me, and they would talk to me. They talk at me about having a perfectly functional body being mutilated. Kids, my surgeries would not be mutilation. That would be like a nose job almost, but more serious. You have a bad nose, you're going to get a nose job. Well, I have a bad crotch. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can
keep
get
stealing the
that.
guy beside me's popcorn at the movie theater.
They flip out like over everything. Like, I mean, if you're having tattoos or if you're having hair dye, shit like that, just the minute sort of crap like that, they flip out over it. And if
a lot of this also stems back to a lot of it stems back to the prominence of Christianity.
Yes,
because,
yes.
I mean, trans people more than anything get looked down upon because it's destroying God's plan. Which, I mean, if God's plan is for me to want to not be who I am, then God did a bad job of designing my goddamn body.
I agree in some sense with that, but when you're talking about schizophrenia, it's a whole nother ballgame.
I mean in general, and another thing.
I'll be right back, you guys.
Okay.
Right now, everyone's cheering on the healthcare workers and stuff. So,
I have to, Shadow Kitty. I really do. Because were I to try to play it down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, there are a lot of people out there who wouldn't get the point. I'm really trying to make a point here. Thank you, B.
I think I wanted to say something. I think it comes down to a little bit of both, because in some way, once they eradicate all the delusions, they're still using the schizophrenia part to justify the part that you were saying about meow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, I've said it many times to Ken Ham and his ilk, and a few times to Banana Man, where I will up front ask them, hey guys, are you afraid that you would be attracted to one of us, or are you afraid that you are one of us?
Yeah.
A lot of it comes down to, I think, just like systematic hate, but then you do get like constant stories. I think there was one not too long ago of overzealous homophobic or transphobic preachers getting caught, either
it's fucking wild.
like going to like homosexual prostitutes. Right, you'll get like these preachers and priests doing exactly what they say is a sin, which I find to be hilarious. But it also kind of makes sense because when you think about it, like clearly they're hiding something. Yeah.
What was the name of that mega pastor who the mega church pastor who was in the God Delusion documentary who sniffed coke off a gay?
Oh, that's Ted Haggard.
Ted Haggard.
Yeah.
He gets up there and does all the homophobic shit.
Yeah, and then he's telling Dawkins, gay hookers, don't be arrogant. It's like, oh, fuck you.
Oh God.
Oh man, B, I'll tell you, I don't know if it's cool to be a lesbian. I'm still not below room temperature, so I don't know. Let me get a little cooler here, because
I have this question for all of you guys.
Yes,
what
sir.
was your guys' favorite moment of all the televangelists throughout this whole coronavirus thing?
Oh, definitely Kenneth fucking Copeland.
Oh yeah, blowing at the camera.
Oh. You are not here. Feel God in your soul and let him touch you with his light. You are now healed if you believe in the blood of the Lamb. He looks like the Crypt Keeper.
He was supposed to have had the whole coronavirus gone by Easter.
Can we just agree that Kenneth Copeland looks like a demon himself, even though he's afraid of like airplane demons?
Absolutely.
He looks like.
Jen, that was an amazing impression. How I can tell is that when you were doing that, I winced a little bit.
Okay, wait a minute. If he's afraid of airplane demons, does that include the happy pig demon? If you guys remember Cool Hard Logic.
Yeah.
What's so funny to me about that's actually funny to me about Kenneth Copeland is that he's so scared of airplane demons that he has to go buy a airplane from what's the guy who does Medea.
Dude, Copeland's got 3 planes.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure he made up all of that bullshit so that people would get off his ass over embezzling church money. Which, honestly, these mega pastors, they thrive off of scamming people. I don't even think they believe the shit that they sell. I think that they're selling this purely for the cash reward. Because if you're really dedicated to like a cause, you don't seek to self-gain. That's like the opposite of what Jesus taught, right?
Oh, all of those fucking clowns do the opposite of what Jesus taught.
I mean,
yeah. They're like those priests in some of those churches who go in the fucking money bag at the end of church and fucking steal like $200 from the church.
Who's that one?
I did no such thing.
Who's that one televangelist who's like now saying like, "Come to church, God will protect you" or something? He's like,
which one? There are a few of them.
I know. I think his name's like Todd something.
Greg Locke or whatever.
I was going to say Greg Locke. Yeah.
I mean, I know that's one of them. I'm thinking of
fucking asshole.
It's hard to tell them apart because they're all like the same like money grubbing like slimy grease bags that they are. And then a lot of the people who donate to them are like people who are at risk. Like your grandma probably would be the one to most likely donate to these people because grandmas, especially conservative ones, in my experience, love
is this
to
what you're
donate
talking
to
about, Jen? Todsville?
Yeah, I think. Hold on, let me look this up.
Yeah, well, Locke is couching.
Google is your friend.
Yes, Locke is couching it all in rights. They're not going to take our rights away, our First Amendment rights, and all this other shit.
This isn't about that. He can go fuck himself. This is about
I know.
Staying safe.
Actually, I have a DM on Discord about this, so I'll get back to y'all about like who I'm talking about. I think like their exact words are, "There is no need to worry. Coronavirus is just a facet of a devil that is made up to scare you away from church." And it's like you can like see into his cold, dead eyes that he's just saying this so that you'll give him more ka-ching,
Move beef.
You know what's sad though about this whole coronavirus? What's even worse is that if you listen,
Joel Osteen, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah. Why did I say Todd?
Yeah. Sorry about that, Meow. But if you look at Telltale, Atheist, he put out some stuff. The Jehovah's Witnesses has declared that the end of the world is happening.
I think they always do. Whenever whenever there's anything
know.
that's like a global threat or whatever, it's always the end times. I've been waiting for the end times since I was goddamn
This is what we've been
born.
talking about. Look, see, we were right.
You know what? I want the end times to come. Mad Max looked like a fucking awesome movie. Maybe not with Mel Gibbs, but like,
Well, they did the new ones with what's his name?
Tom Hardy, yeah.
Which was great. I thought it was fine.
I liked Fury Road, yeah. You know what? I'd take that over Mel Gibbs, though. So, you know,
Oh yeah.
bring on the end times. Bring them on. Come on, I'm ready. I'm a welder. I can survive this shit.
It's,
Well, we know it's not gonna. In reality, it's never gonna happen. So
is Osteen the one that bought the Houston Rockets arena and set his thing up there?
he bought the arena.
I think
His
so.
church bought the arena, the old arena from the Houston Rockets, or the whatever. They bought the old arena that used to be run by the Houston Rockets, or something.
That's the one where you had the group with Aaron and Dillahunty and they visited there. You know, what was it? Atheist Going to Church or something it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Here in private chat, I'm gonna put the link to the tweet that has Joel Osteen saying like,
Also,
we don't care.
You're right, Susan. And he was also supposed to return during the time of his apostles too.
Yes.
Or his whatever followers or whatever.
Actually, you know, we don't know if he means his apostles were the descendants of his apostles. You know, like we just keep moving the goalpost.
Yeah,
well,
they're good at it.
He was supposed to return this past year. The
whole apocalyptic thinking thing was in Jewish thought for what?
I'm hanging out with you guys.
For Jesus.
Shit. God.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said I'm hanging out with all you guys.
Lavender.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, wasn't the whole apocalypticism a part of Jewish thought for a century or two before Jesus?
Yeah, there was one. There was one school of thought towards that. Yes.
What's the name of that?
That was more Kabbalistic, though, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
What's the name of that mega church pastor in fucking San Antonio who
never heard of fucking San Antonio?
No, who believed in the 4 blood moons and said that Christ was
Oh
going to come back in
crap! That was so
2000.
long ago.
What was his name? John Heggie or some shit.
Something
Chat,
like that.
help us out here.
Chat,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah, chat. Who's delayed by like
Christ
20
was supposed
seconds?
to come back in 2015 and he didn't. He was supposed to come back in 2015. He was supposed to come back in 1970 something.
Well, Wiki has a list of the times the end of the world was supposed to have occurred. Yeah. It's not a short list.
Nope.
remember 2012 when everyone was like, "Oh, the Mayan calendar."
Oh,
is-
hell.
Oh,
we're gonna die.
All hell broke loose for no.
And then there was like that movie 2012 that was absolutely shit, and then Geostorm ripped that off, and every single like apocalypse movie, natural disaster movie goes back to 2012, which nothing fucking happened. It's like Y2K. You know, COVID-19 is just Y2K in 2020. Like every fucking year, it seems like there's a world-ending virus, or there's like a computer program that's gonna fuck up, or that there's some new technology that's gonna give us a third testicle and cause us to die of radiation poisoning. And I'm quite frankly sick of it. I'm sick of it. Like nothing ever fucking happens.
When are we gonna get the mutations like what Peter Parker went through?
Yeah, right. I want spider powers.
I want Spider-Man's powers, but I want to jizz the webs instead of slinging them out of my hands.
I'm glad I didn't take a sip that time.
We had better not get the third testicle, I'll tell you, because two is
Give me a second.
too many for me.
Almost thwip.
I just thank you, Susan.
Oh shit!
Spider dick, spider dick.
I'm everybody's mom, but nobody's lover. What the fuck?
Oh god.
Jizz a web swinging tight. Look out now, it's Spider Dick.
Hey there goes the spider dick.
Oh, shit, ski. I love it.
I love how we went from something
And he
serious
swings
to Spider
from
Dick.
his dick. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, welcome to one of my shows.
Oh man.
I feel like I make your shows 20% dirtier.
If I had that, if I was like Peter Parker, I would just go straight over to John Hagee's. I would just go. If I was like Peter Parker, I would just go straight over to John Hagee's place and just spray the whole fucking place with webs.
Imagine like the pranks you could do as Spider-Man. Like TPing houses would never be such a pain to like.
Valid question. How many do you want?
Extra appendages does a spider dick have? At least 8 pubes that can cling to walls.
There you go. I mean, it's got to be better than an echidna for
Yeah,
Christ's
because
sake.
that's what you want. When you're walking up to the wall, you want to be stuck to the wall by your
You have to like hump the wall to get up. You know how he like does the wall climb?
Get a
you
hand
have
here.
to. Gotta move your
Can't
ass
seem to
cheeks
get my
to
junk
like,
off the wall. Someone, anyone?
oh god, imagine like doing porn and then like you're just stuck and you're like assistance.
Spider porn.
Can you imagine this? Like, can you imagine this? Like, you're like Peter Parker, right? And then you got that Spider-Man jeans, and then you fucking go to
Get it out, come on.
I know. To of course, I'm trying to think of the name.
It's not
the
working.
700 Club. and you see,
what the hell?
You know.
I have no idea either. Really?
No, you don't know the 700 Club, right?
Yes,
no,
I do.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3,
Pat
4, 5,
Robertson.
6, 7, 8, 9,
Pat
10, 11, 12,
Robertson.
13, 14. Have I drank 15 fucking beers today already?
You go to Pat Robinson's show and you're standing.
Why are you still
You go to
sitting
Pat
up
Robinson's
straight?
show and you're up there on the fucking ceiling and he's looking at that. He's
I
like,
need more.
Okay.
Neil is like the most functioning alcoholic on the show. You could challenge Neil's.
Oh, you broke Pikachu.
We need an IT department fast.
no.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
I was just trying to say, like,
No wonder he's peeing so much. He drank 15 fucking
I
beers.
want to get another beer.
no, I was just saying you have Peter Parker's jeans and you go to Pat Robertson's place and you're clinging to the ceiling, you know, and doing that whatever that move is where he's clinging on that rope or whatever from the ceiling, his web from the rope from the ceiling and shit.
I would rather go to Ray Comfort's house and just like graffiti with Webb's evolution is real. Just so he could be like tripped the fuck out like some spider has gained sentience.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's like Charlotte's Web, but a lot more tragic and Australian.
Actually, I would do that. Yeah, I would do that to what's his name with the arc? Ken Ham. I would do that all over the arc.
Speaking of these douchebags, have you heard the news of someone dying at Kent Hovind's little like family field museum? And he's like,
Are you talking about Are you talking about the young boy who drowned?
Yeah, and he's like, well, the family had a fun time. You know, the family had a fun time. I mean, yeah, a kid died, but they had a good time. Like, Kent Hovind, I thought you were a cunt before, but like, are you serious? Are you serious? He's just so deluded. Like, I legitimately think the dude has gone so senile that he needs to be put away for his own safety.
For our safety, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, what was his prisoner number? What does R and Raw call him?
Oh my!
It's like Prisoner 2 for.
Oh yeah.
I know it
Inmate,
ends with I know it ends with
inmate, whatever.
2017. So somebody's got the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah. Inmate number fucking something 20.
Yeah, but y'all get what I was saying though. Like, I mean,
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think Kent Hovind needs to be like thrown back in jail. This time not for tax evasion, but for negligence. Like, you know, at least send your condolences to the family who you have irreparably damaged. Don't say, "Well, they had a fun time."
Wait a minute.
Thrown in jail just for operating a business when he didn't have the legal ability to own a license.
She must be talking about me.
Hi, Angelica. How you doing?
Legal ability to own a license there. He was a convicted convict.
I'm down with that. What Shay just said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The NIFB is so sneaky that they just barely don't classify as a terrorist organization, and it infuriates me because they really should, with the amount of times that they have called for violence against people like
absolutely.
me. You know, like, but they're sneaky with it, and that's why whenever I feel upset about the NIFB, I turn on the video of Steven Anderson getting tased by the police at the border, because that just fills my heart and my dick with joy.
I'm trying to remember. Was the what was his name? Matt Powell? Was he part of the NIFB? Because
Scat Towel?
Yes.
Yeah.
He did advocate violence. Yeah.
Scat Towel is just a fucking douche. Like, I mean, well, all of them are. Right.
Oh yeah.
Like,
McMurtry, Anderson, they're all fucking assholes.
McMurtry, Anderson, Burzins,
Hernandez, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
There was this guy. There was one guy that I responded to from Jacksonville, Florida, who was part of a church that used to be part of the NIFB. And I think I reported it to you guys, and I told him at Meta, and like he responded instantly about it. And the thing was is that they were making some racist statements towards China and towards Asian people about.
Of course they are.
They were making racist statements towards Asian people, and then what they were also stating was that the reason why the coronavirus exists was because of atheists.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard so many conspiracies like that. Like the coronavirus is like an atheist government plot to take out China, and then like it spread.
No,
like
they were saying that it's God's judgment on.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Well, so was the ice capades, for fuck's sake.
Why is it that like fucking like every time a natural disaster occurs, like these like over evangelist Christians are like, oh, this is God's punishment. Like, I mean, AIDS was supposed to wipe out the gay population. I'm here, so I mean, clearly it's not working. God must really suck at his job. Oh yeah. Irma. I remember when like Irma was gonna hit my state, and there were some real nasty people who are like, "This is God sending judgment to the gays." And
they said the same. They said the same thing about Katrina, like because Katrina wiped out.
They always do. They always do.
Yeah, like Bourbon Street has. There's like at least like 40 or 50 gay bars on Bourbon Street, and like half of Bourbon Street got wiped out due to Katrina, and they were saying that it was because of the gays.
But here's the thing: it goes back to the end times bullshit that they always peddle. It's because, well, one, it spreads fear, which helps them spread their religion. But two, if something happens that can be correlated to their beliefs, they feel justified. And the reason why they feel justified is because they fooled themselves into believing this lie. And like, you know, I'm tolerant of religions, but I will flat out say it's a lie, you know, to say that these natural disasters, these naturally caused like illnesses, catastrophes, what have you, are anything but natural. It's a lie to say that it's God's divine plan, because God's divine plan is like a word Scrabble. It's more complex than the fucking Legend of Zelda timeline.
Yeah.
I'm ranting. I'm
It's
sorry.
come to expect that because the majority of their beliefs are centered around confirmation bias anyway. So,
yeah, but
and you know what? Here's the thing that is also aggravating to me about this. They will say that it's God's judgment on the gay people, and then what happens is you'll have one church that survives. Everybody fucking goes on saying, "Oh, look at how beautiful this is. This church survived. It's God saved this church." Blah 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 blah. And then you realize when Katrina hit, there was like at least half a dozen churches that were destroyed in Katrina.
Well, but here's the thing: those don't matter because that one church is the testament that God exists. Right? Like I remember when Irma like missed Florida and went up the East Coast. Some lady was like, "I prayed for Irma to leave us alone, and it did. This is from God." And then it wipes out like South Carolina, and it's like,
But the thing is, like, how is it like? You sit back and you're like praising that it saved these Christians, but then it destroyed and killed all these Christians.
No, Matthew. It was a choice. Remember?
yeah. Oh no, there's no such thing as being born gay. If you're born gay, you're
No, you got to choose it.
Yeah, you're seeking attention. You know, that's what it is. That's what those people believe, and I don't get that because if I could be straight and not trans, I'd fucking be straight and not trans.
Really?
Yeah, but it's kind of like this. If your God does exist, then you have to think about this. If
He doesn't. It's okay.
If your God does exist, then here's the deal: and you're in that path line, and the gay people, and then your church gets destroyed. You're dead.
Well, here's the thing: God's testing your family. Whenever a bad thing happens to a Christian, it's a test from God. That's how they get away with this. You know, like whenever like something bad happens to a Christian, God's testing us.
No, the thing is that your church, okay, is in that path line, and you believe that, okay, God is going to judge the gay people, and what happens is your God, let's say, exists, and then comes up and judges the gay people, but then destroys your church, and you die.
Oh, they would just justify it as collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You can't win with these people. They've strapped the goalposts to their sphincters, and they're running around face down, ass up. And that's why the goalpost keeps shifting, because no matter what happens, it's all part of a divine plan. This is why I like George Carlin's segment where he starts praying to Joe Pesci, because if it goes against God's plan and you pray for it and he says no, then what's the point of praying? You know, pray to Joe Pesci.
Matthew Randall's got arm cancer.
This is what I really like from Carlin. To do something about this. It was God and Jeffrey, and like God was I forget, he was doing something with the world, and like he was trying to send natural disasters in certain areas because one area was having gay pride events, so he sent another natural disaster to another area or some shit. I forget what it was.
I mean, there's so many of those that it's hard to keep track of them, you know?
Yeah.
Apparently, Matthew needs some extra new underwear because he's got multiple testicles now, thanks to 5G.
No. See, I told you this is what happened. See, everyone says it comes from the bats, but no. COVID-19 came from the signals, the high frequency radiation from 5G towers reflecting off of bat echolocation, which then went into the toilet paper, and now we're wiping our asses with COVID-19. We are wiping our asses with COVID-19.
Hey, what's worse?
Be afraid.
What's worse? We're buying masks.
Oh, I'm afraid, all right, but it ain't the toilet paper.
Hey, we're buying masks from China that have COVID-19 on it, so we're breathing in COVID-19.
Funny thing is, I only use American-made masks.
and they're all useless.
No, and you know
Actually,
what?
they're not.
Well,
I use a
Yeah,
carbon
they are.
filter mask. No, I have carbon filter pads that are replaceable on a mask that
Like an
that is
actual
washable.
respirator.
Well, I have a respirator too, and I have a gas mask that has a filter that goes on my back. But hey, not everyone's prepared for the apocalypse like I am. I understand, like I'm just waiting to start cannibalizing people. Y'all can do what you want.
Dude, I wanted to get one of those whatever they call them mask, M3 mask that they fucking have that they put on the whatever with the charcoal filters on it.
Yeah,
like,
they're grade 9 rated.
Yeah. They're great. They're P100s, but the thing is that now they're going to the hospitals now. But the thing is now, if you try to find them online, they're going for such asinine prices.
This is why I bought them ahead of time.
Those masks that you see most people wearing, the fucking weird square papery ones.
Those
with
don't
the gaps,
actually work, right?
They
Those,
do nothing. The
they
N95
stop you
ones
from
do
breathing on
nothing.
other people, and they stop you
No,
from
they
breathing
don't even.
in, like,
They don't even do that.
No.
I'll tell you,
here's the
there's
thing.
a video that they made. They showed when you sneeze or you cough, it comes out really with a lot of pressure behind it. And when they showed a video with using a squirt gun that doesn't even come close to being half that amount of pressure, and it goes right fucking through those masks.
Well, here's the thing. That's why you have to get the wire mesh ones. You got.
Doesn't matter.
Well, those ones.
I use these to block out allergens. They do work. They don't work with COVID-19 because of the fact that it's not an aerosol-based virus. It's a tactile-based virus. You touch things, that's how you get sick.
You can catch it from floating in the air too.
The ones that are rated, the ones that are rated at P100 will block out anything.
No, they'll only block out 90%.
Block out about 90, 97, 90.
They're rated 9 because they block out 90%.
Like, I don't need to bother with a mask. I just stay the fuck away from people. That's the best thing to do. Stay the fuck away.
I know it's also airborne, but what I'm saying is
no, it's not airborne, but it can sit in the air for a little bit, and if you walk through it, you can pick it up.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is, it won't prevent COVID-19 infection because it's a tactile base.
That's the better idea, or a better way to put it. Yeah. Oop.
Yeah. The thing is, there's the N95s are the lowest grade that you can possibly get. The P100s are the highest.
Oh no, they're not.
You can get, I think.
N95s aren't low.
Yeah.
The little paper square ones you see people with the gaps on the side, those are even lower.
That surgical mask, whatever. That's what it. Yeah. But I'm saying that this is the lowest grade that you can get from M3, from the manufacturer that produces the
3M, you mean?
Yeah, 3M. I meant to say.
They have N95, they have R95, they have P100
from 3M.
Yeah,
but
we use them at work.
3M is the P100s.
Fun tip: if you ever get those like cheap paper square scrubs masks, I always use those to get high by putting nail polish on the front of it because the fumes just soak right into your nostrils.
Yeah.
Well, there's the interesting thing I've heard from a couple of sources already. Pop open a bottle of oil of peppermint, and if you can smell it through the mask, you're susceptible to coronavirus through that mask.
Take a squirt gun, and they'll go right fucking through all of them.
Let's cut out the middleman entirely, pee through it, and see if it.
If you spray like
stay home.
If you have a mask. If you have a mask,
it's getting really lonely to do that one there, Neil.
If you have a mask and
I got it.
It's like a gas mask, but you can spray like Febreze through it, and you can still smell the Febreze. Is no good.
You know what, Diana? People are going outside now. Just keep your distance from people.
Yeah,
when you're outside,
be
6 or 7 feet away and have
I have no problem with that. They see me coming, they run like hell.
This is why I tape knives to myself so that no one tries to touch me. Yeah, I go out looking like Sonic the Hedgehog's like Hellraiser brother with just a bunch of kitchen knives everywhere.
But, the ones. No, I tried looking for one of those masks. They're used for
spray bottle.
They're used for removing like lead paint and all that sort of shit like that. And like the thing is, the mask was even the ones that were in damaged cases were going for like $60 and $70 when they should have only been going for like $5. And this was on
I got a whole fucking box of N95 masks here.
This was on auctions, I meant to say. This is on auctions.
But I used to use those for
$70.
The N95s that I have, I used to use for drywall. You can wear them and they keep drywall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't use an N95 to remove lead paint though.
No, you need a respirator for that.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. These were respirators.
Okay.
The P100s are all respirators.
So they're made out of rubber and they have the
rubber. Yes.
Pro tip: if you go into welding and you work on chromium, you're required to use a respirator. So I'm set for life if there's ever an apocalypse.
And a respirator is going to protect you a lot better than a P95.
Oh God, IQ! I hate patchouli.
They'll keep their distance.
Yeah.
You just need to like unwarrantedly start shooting.
Just wear patchouli. Fuck you! I used to wear patchouli.
I don't like it. I do not like it at all.
You said used to wear patchouli, and you have many, many more friends now, don't you?
Nope, I had lots of friends, and I just haven't worn it in like probably a couple of years. Once in a blue, I'll throw it on. I like the way it smells.
See, Neil, you know what's sad? What's sad is that here in the United States, hospital people in the medical system, nurses and doctors and so forth, are forced to have to use their N95s for months without having to replace them because Donald J. Trump and his stupid dumbass hasn't fully engaged the whatever that act is to get them to fully make and to get them to fully make more respirators and more masks industrially for the healthcare providers the way he should have, even though he enacted the specific law that is supposed to be enacted, he never enforced it the way he should have.
I just want to point something out here. It's actually not an essential oil. That's a silly name that they give these things.
Yeah.
It's an oil, and it's made from the patchouli flower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No oils are essential.
The only thing you need to spray on you to ensure you'll remain healthy is colloidal silver and Gwyneth Paltrow's psychic vampire repellent.
Yes, and her vagina smell candle.
Yeah, you have to like burn 10 of them around you while you sit in like a pentagram of goop and just meditate while taking like copious amounts of shrooms. And getting your own. Have you guys seen the Goop Lab yet? Because Angelica and I watched the Goop Lab, and it is fucking insane. It's on Netflix.
It's fucking. Why do they allow that shit on there?
Because it's so controversial that Netflix knows people are going to subscribe just to watch how fucking stupid
Tiger
it is.
King train wreck piece of shit show.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing: Netflix doesn't care about their reputation. They care about the amount of people's asses they have like watching their content, and like the fucking Goop Lab, whoever. First of all, I'm shocked that Gwyneth Paltrow hasn't been like fined or like sent to jail for some sort of
peddling woo nonsense bullshit.
Yeah, but even more baffling to me is the fact that Netflix looked at how controversial this came out Like, it was announced that the Goop Lab would be airing on Netflix after the JonTron video talking about how stupid Goop was, and there was that whole controversy about it. Netflix saw that, and instead of saying, wow, we don't want to be associated with Gwyneth Paltrow, they said, profits. Because of course they did. Of course they did. Everything comes down to how much we can scam people or how much we can by proxy get scam artists to make people pay for our products. It's
yeah, dude, I get it.
I think companies just don't.
Business.
Companies just don't give a shit about what's. I mean, companies don't give a shit about what's science and what's not science. All they care about is money.
Of course they do, because money is what.
Well, hang on. That's kind of a broad generalization.
Yeah, it
You can't
is
say that about every company.
It is a broad generalization, but I think a lot of companies have.
Nobody goes into business
money,
not looking to make profit.
You see it in entertainment a lot, though. You gotta admit, you see it in entertainment a lot. That
Nice
a
little
lot
reference to Clerks.
Yeah.
A lot of the snake oil gets peddled through entertainment and entertainment companies, though. You have to admit that.
Yeah. When I see Apple and I see these companies like this, they'll do stuff for the medical system, and they will work with medical providers, and they will work with those sort of things. But it's a deal with the devil, because in reality is they want their money for things like video games, things like shit like Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that, and these different stuff where they could sell stuff to other people. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's why people go into business. I don't understand. People go into business to make money.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but I feel as though nowadays companies are not looking at quality; they're looking at profit more so than ever. Like back in the day, again,
there's an element of truth to that for sure.
Yep.
I keep bringing it back to entertainment, but Disney is probably one of the biggest fucking offenders of this. They used to care about what they put out.
Don't give a shit about what they put on there.
Nowadays, they'll make a shot-for-shot remake of The Lion King and make it look absolutely fucking ridiculous.
That remake was dumb.
I'm a furry, and I thought the remake was dumb.
It's the deal with the devil, because here's the thing. The thing is, and I don't mean to be saying it religious stuff, but the thing is that they will go ahead and give airtime to these civil rights things for LGBT stuff so long as they're fucking making money. And they won't give a shit as long as they're making money.
Speaking of barbecue,
the deal is
of course
that
we were speaking of barbecue way earlier, but I just got an invite.
Yeah,
throwing some steaks on the barbie. You coming down? Yeah, I'm coming down.
Yeah. Go get that bread. Go get that.
Jealous.
Yeah.
I saw him earlier today, and they were like fucking 1.5 inch thick steaks that he got from a butcher.
Sure.
It's been quite a while since I've had a steak, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That succulent.
I had one sometime last year. I forget exactly when.
Well, he goes to a butcher that's ethically sourced. Same guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Muir and Burnaby. They get it from the little hobby farms up in the valley. So.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up, guys, because I'm going to take off. Okay. I'm going to go have a couple more beers because I need, I didn't actually drink 15. I'm only fucking with you guys. Like 8 of these were already here. 8 of these were already here, so I've only had about 7 so far. So this is number 8, and then I'll probably have 2 more and then hit the sack for work. So I can go to work hungover tomorrow.
That's always the best way to start the day. Is with the
I never get hungover. I'm kidding.
Neil, you drunk more than that.
No.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching so much, and remember, it's called Spider Dick because it's not knowledge.
Spider Dick. All right. All right, you guys. I don't even think I need to say the outro now. Thanks, Jen.
This is 2 for 2 that I've stolen your outro.
Oh, God.
All right. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry that Ridvan could only stick around for about 15, 20 minutes, but we had a good time chatting with him earlier, and I don't have anyone for Wednesday because somebody just bailed on me, so I'll have to figure out. I'll find somebody. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
You can always talk to me again.
Yo,
All right,
just
guys,
have two after parties. Have two after parties on Wednesday.
After what?
Exactly.
We'll call it the party and then the after party.
Why not?
All right.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to eat
Thanks
steak.
for
See you
putting
guys.
up with me, kids.
Hey, Neil, can I ask you a question?